US Open, tennis. In today's video we'll learn about US Open tennis, going through the sections: abstract, history, grounds, recent attendance, prize money, ranking points, champions, media coverage, external links. Abstract. Coordinates: 404,459.26 N, 735,045.91 W, 40.74979444 N, 73.84608661 W, 40.74979444, minus 73.84608661. The United States Open Tennis Championships is a hard-court tennis tournament. The tournament is the modern version of one of the oldest tennis championships in the world, the U.S. National Championship, for which men's singles and men's doubles were first played in 1881. Since 1987, the U.S. Open has been chronologically the fourth and final Grand Slam tournament of the year. The other three, in chronological order, are the Australian Open, the French Open, and Wimbledon. The US Open starts on the last Monday of August and continues for 2 weeks, with the middle weekend coinciding with the US Labor Day holiday. The tournament consists of 5 primary championships: men's and women's singles, men's and women's doubles, and mixed doubles. The tournament also includes events for senior, junior, and wheelchair players. Since 1978, the tournament has been played on acrylic hard courts at the USTA Billie Jean King National Tennis Center in Flushing Meadows, Corona Park, Queens, New York City. The US Open is owned and organized by the United States Tennis Association, USTA, a non-profit organization, and the chairperson of the US Open is Patrick Galbraith. Revenue from ticket sales, sponsorships, and television contracts are used to develop tennis in the United States. The US Open employs standard 7-point tiebreakers in every set of a singles match. For the other 3 Grand Slam events, there are special scoring methods for a match that reaches 66 in the last possible set. In the French Open, the decisive set continues until a player takes a 2-game lead. In Australia, an extended tiebreaker to 10 points is played, and at Wimbledon, a standard tiebreaker is played only if the game score reaches 12-12. As with the US Open, those events use tiebreakers to decide the other sets. This project compresses information gathered from Wikipedia in video format. Why should I watch it? Studies prove that reading while listening improves comprehension, increases speed as well as expands vocabulary and enhances fluency. Provide your feedback on the comments section. Support the channel by subscribing and liking the video. Thanks. History. The tournament was first held in August 1881 on grass courts at the Newport Casino in Newport, Rhode Island. That year, only clubs that were members of the United States National Lawn Tennis Association, USNLTA, were permitted to enter. Richard Sears won the men's singles at this tournament, which was the first of his 7 consecutive singles titles. From 1884 through 1911, the tournament used a challenge system whereby the defending champion automatically qualified for the next year's final, where he would play the winner of the all-comers tournament. In 1915, the national championship was relocated to the Westside Tennis Club in Forest Hills, Queens, New York City. The effort to relocate it to New York City began as early as 1911 when a group of tennis players, headed by New Yorker Carl Baer, started working on it. In the first years of the U.S. National Championship, only men competed and the tournament was known as the U.S. National Singles Championships for men. In 1887, 6 years after the men's nationals were first held, the first U.S. Women's National Singles Championship was held at the Philadelphia Cricket Club. The winner was 17-year-old Philadelphian Ellen Hansel. This was followed by the introduction of the U.S. Women's National Doubles Championship in 1899 and the U.S. Mixed Doubles Championship in 1892. The women's tournament used a challenge system from 1888 through 1918, except in 1917. Between 1890 and 1906, sectional tournaments were held in the east and the west of the country to determine the best two doubles teams, which competed in a playoff for the right to compete against the defending champions in their challenge round. In early 1915, a group of about 100 tennis players signed a petition in favor of moving the tournament. They argued that most tennis clubs, players, and fans were located in the New York City area and that it would therefore be beneficial for the development of the sport to host the national championship there. This view was opposed by another group of players that included 8 former national singles champions. This contentious issue was brought to a vote at the annual USNLTA meeting on February 5, 1915, with 128 votes in favor of and 119 against relocation. From 1921 through 1923, the tournament was played at the Germantown Cricket Club in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It returned to the West Side Tennis Club in 1924 following completion of the 14,000-seat Forest Hills Stadium Monsieur, although many already regarded it as a major championship. The International Lawn Tennis Federation officially designated it as one of the world's major tournaments, commencing in 1924. At the 1922 U.S. National Championships, the draw seeded players for the first time to prevent the leading players from playing each other in the early rounds. The Open era began in 1968 when professional tennis players were allowed to compete for the first time at the Grand Slam tournament held at the Westside Tennis Club. The previous U.S. National Championships had been limited to amateur players, except for mixed doubles. All events at the 1968 national tournament were open to professionals. That year, 96 men and 63 women entered, and prize money totaled $100,000. In 1970, the U.S. Open became the first Grand Slam tournament to use a tiebreaker to decide a set that reached a 66 score in games. From 1970 through 1974, the U.S. Open used a best-of-9 sudden death tiebreaker before moving to the International Tennis Federation's ITF best-of-12 points system this year. In 1973, the U.S. Open became the first Grand Slam tournament to award equal prize money to men and women, with that year's singles champions, John Newcombe and Margaret Court, receiving $25,000 each. From 1975, following complaints about the surface and its impact on the ball's bounce, the tournament played on clay courts instead of grass. This was also an experiment to make it more TV-friendly. The addition of floodlights allowed matches to be played at night. In 1978, the tournament moved from the Westside Tennis Club to the larger and newly constructed USTA National Tennis Center in Flushing Meadows, Queens, 3 miles, 4.8 kilometers, to the north. The tournament's court surface also switched from clay to hard. Jimmy Conchabas is the only individual to have won U.S. Open singles titles on 3 surfaces: grass, clay, and hard, while Chris Evert is the only woman to win U.S. Open singles titles on 2 surfaces: clay and hard. The U.S. Open is the only Grand Slam tournament that has been played every year since its inception. During the 2006 U.S. Open, the complex was renamed to USTA Billie Jean King National Tennis Center in honor of Billie Jean King, a 4-time U.S. Open singles champion and women's tennis pioneer. From 1984 through 2015, the U.S. Open deviated from traditional scheduling practices for tennis tournaments with a concept that came to be known as Super Saturday. The men's and women's finals were played on the final Saturday and Sunday of the tournament, respectively, and their respective semi-finals were held one day prior. The women's final was originally held in between the 2 men's semi-final matches. In 2001, the women's final was moved to the evening so it could be played on primetime television. citing a major growth in popularity for women's tennis among viewers. This scheduling pattern helped to encourage television viewership, but proved divisive among players because it only gave them less than a day's rest between their semi-finals and championship match. For 5 consecutive tournaments between 2007 through 2012, the men's final was postponed to Monday due to weather. In 2013 and 2014, the USTA intentionally scheduled the men's final on a Monday, a move praised for allowing the men's players an extra day's rest following the semi-finals, but drew the ire of the ATP for further deviating from the structure of the other Grand Slams. In 2015, the Super Saturday concept was dropped, and the US Open returned to a format similar to the other Grand Slams, with men's and women's finals on Saturday and Sunday. However, weather delays forced both sets of semi-finals to be held on Friday that year. In 2018, the tournament was the first Grand Slam tournament that introduced the shot clock to keep a check on the time consumed by players between points. The reason for this change was to increase the pace of play. The clock is placed in a position visible to players, the chair umpire and fans. Since 2020, all Grand Slams, ATP, and WTA tournaments apply this technology. In 2020, the event was held without spectators due to the COVID-19 pandemic. An announcement that the wheelchair tennis competition would not be held caused controversy because USTA did not consult with the disabled athletes prior to it, as it had consulted with the players' bodies for the non-disabled competitions. After accusations of discrimination, USTA was forced to backtrack, admitting that it should have discussed the decision with the disabled competitors and offering them either $150,000 to be split between them, a competition as part of the Open with 95% of the 2019 prize fund, or a competition to be held at the USTA base in Florida. Grounds. The grounds of the US Open have 22 outdoor courts consisting of 4 show courts: Arthur Ashe Stadium, Louis Armstrong Stadium, the Grandstand, and Court 17, 13 field courts, and 5 practice courts. The main court is the 23,771-seat Arthur Ashe Stadium, which opened in 1997. A $180 million retractable roof was added in 2016. The stadium is named after Arthur Ashe, the African-American who won the men's singles title at the inaugural US Open in 1968, the Australian Open in 1970, and Wimbledon in 1975, and who was inducted into the International Tennis Hall of Fame in 1985. The next largest court is the 14,061-seat Louis Armstrong Stadium, which cost $200 million to build and opened in 2018. The 6,400-seat lower tier of this stadium is separately ticketed, reserved seating, while the 7,661-seat upper tier is general admission and not separately ticketed. The third largest court is the 8,125-seat grandstand in the southwest corner of the grounds, which opened in 2016. Court 17 in the southeast corner of the grounds is the fourth largest stadium this year. It opened with temporary seating in 2011 and received its permanent seating the following year. It has a seating capacity of 2,800, all of which is general admission and not separately ticketed. It is nicknamed the Pit, partly because the playing surface is sunk 8 feet into the ground. The total seating capacity for practice courts P1, P5 is 672 and for competition courts 416 is 12,656. Itemized as follows. All the courts used by the US Open are illuminated, allowing matches and television coverage to extend into prime time. In 2001, the women's singles final was intentionally scheduled for prime time for the first time. CBS Sports president Sean McManus cited significant public interest in star players Serena Williams and Venus Williams in the good ratings performance of the 1999 women's singles final. which was pushed into prime time by rain delays. From 1978 to 2019, the US Open was played on a hard court surface called Pro Deco Turf. It is a multi-layer cushioned surface and classified by the International Tennis Federation as medium fast each August before the start of the tournament. The courts are resurfaced. In March 2020, the USTA announced that Lakeland would become the new court surface supplier beginning with the 2020 tournament. Since 2005, all US Open and US Open Series tennis courts have been painted a shade of blue, trademarked as US Open Blue, inside the lines to make it easier for players, spectators, and television viewers to see the ball. The area outside the lines is still painted US Open Green. In 2006, the US Open introduced instant replay reviews of line calls. Using the Hawkeye computer system this year, it was the first Grand Slam tournament to use the system this year according to many experts. The system was implemented because of a controversial quarterfinal match at the 2004 US Open between Serena Williams and Jennifer Capriati, where important line calls went against Williams. Instant replay was available only on the Arthur Ashe Stadium and Louis Armstrong Stadium courts through the 2008 tournament. In 2009, it became available on the Grandstand court. Starting in 2018, all competition courts are outfitted with Hawkeye and all matches in the main draws, men's and women's singles and doubles, follow the same procedure. Each player is allowed 3 incorrect challenges per set, with one more being allowed in a tie-break. In 2007, JP Morgan Chase renewed its sponsorship of the US Open and, as part of the arrangement, the replay system was renamed to Chase Review, on in-stadium video and television. Recent attendance. Sources: US Open, record attendance 2019, City University of New York Uni. Prize money. The total prize money for the 2018 US Open was $53 million United States dollars. Of that amount, $50,565,840 United States dollars is for player-based compensation and is divided as follows. Asterisk per team. The men's and women's singles prize money, $40,912,000 United States dollars, accounts for 80.9% of total player-based compensation, while men's and women's doubles, $6,140,840 United States dollars, men's and women's singles qualifying, $3,008,000 United States dollars, and mixed doubles, $505,000 United States dollars, account for 12.1%, 5.9%, and 1.0%. respectively. The prize money for the wheelchair drawer amounts to a total of $350,000 United States dollars. The singles winners of the men and women draws receive $31,200 United States dollars and the winner of the quad singles receives $23,400 United States dollars. The United States Tennis Association in 2012 agreed to increase the US Open prize money to $50,400,000 United States dollars by 2017. As a result, the prize money for the 2013 tournament was $33.6 million United States dollars, a record $8.1 million United States dollars increase from 2012. The champions of the 2013 US Open Series also had the opportunity to add $2.6 million United States dollars in bonus prize money, potentially bringing the total 2013 US Open purse to more than $36 million United States dollars. In 2014, the prize money was $38.3 million United States dollars. In 2015, the prize money was raised to $42.3 million United States dollars. Ranking points. Ranking points for the men, ATP, and women, WTA, have varied at the US Open through the years, but presently singles players receive the following points. Champions. Dominic Thiem won the men's singles title in 2020. It was his first major singles title. Naomi Osaka won the women's singles title in 2020. It was her third major singles title and her second at the US Open. Mate Pavu was part of the winning men's doubles team in 2020. It was his second major doubles title and his second at the US Open. Bruno Soares was part of the winning men's doubles team in 2020. It was his third major doubles title and his second at the US Open. Laura Siegemund was part of the winning women's doubles team in 2020. It was her first major doubles title and her second at the US Open. Vera Zvonareva was part of the winning women's doubles team in 2020. It was her third major doubles title and her second at the US Open. Bethany Mattek-Sands was part of the winning mixed doubles team in 2019. It was her ninth Grand Slam title and third in the US Open. Jamie Murray was part of the winning mixed doubles team in 2019. It was his seventh Grand Slam title and fourth in the US Open. Media coverage. The US Open's website allows viewing of live streaming video, but unlike other Grand Slam tournaments, does not allow watching video on demand. The site also offers live radio coverage. Amazon Prime on UK television. Subscription required. ESPN took full control of televising the event in 2015. When taking over, ESPN ended 47 years of coverage produced and aired by CBS. ESPN uses ESPN and ESPN2 for broadcasts, while putting out a court coverage on ESPN+.